here near the end of the day with the intention of swinging this overnight for a potential gap up or a morning spike. This one was a big winner for me this week, totaling over $11,000. So that's why all of these criteria have to add up to this price action strategy, whether you are day trading or overnight swing trading it. Price action trading can be made simpler if you have the right trading tools. In this video lesson, I'll explain how I read price action and trade as an independent trader without relying on chatroom alerts or a bunch of those indicators that are super delayed. If this is your first time watching my video, I'm Shay, the Humble Trader, and I've made many step-by-step tutorials for traders of all levels to learn for free. All I ask is that you gently tap the like button down below. And now let's get started. In this video lesson, I'll break down price action into 4 key steps. Number 1, identifying current market structure and major trends. Number 2, reading intraday price action and planning key levels. 3, understanding the importance of volume and how to use VWAP indicator. And finally, planning out your trade executions with proper risk management. Okay, let's start with market structure and major trend analysis right now. So I usually look at my overall market trend on either SPY or QQQ on the top screen over here. You can see on the left-hand side of the daily chart. That's kind of what I usually use, so let's maximize it. And you can see on the daily chart here, I use the 200 SMA down here, the orange line. And also, these are the major key supports or resistance on the market I'm watching for the day. You can see this 417s area right here. We broke down that today in the morning, but that was a major area that we kind of tested back in May of this year as well as February. So that's why this is kind of a very important key level. To see if market breaks down, which it did today, you can see that intraday, once that level broke down intraday, the next day, which is this morning, the stock really continued selling off. So market is definitely in a downtrend right now, and I can see us touching that 410s area on the daily chart in the next couple of days. Another market indicator I watch and follow is QQQ, which a lot of tech stocks tend to follow. On QQQ over here, you can see the daily chart is actually not as bad as SPY that we just saw. It is in a downtrend. You can see that we'll have lower highs on the daily, and we broke down this major support that we held in June of this year, this 348. Now that we've broken down it, I think we can go and test this area closer to a 200 SMA around the 338, and also that was a support back in May as well. So now that we know the overall market is in a downtrend today and both SPY and QQQ there's more downside, I think we can look at individual stocks to see whether there's corresponding price action to trade. Okay, now that we got step number 1 out of the way, let's move on to step number 2 now, which is reading intraday price action and planning key levels. Okay, switching to an individual stock now from QQQ, we're looking at NVIDIA, which is also a very high weighting in both SPY and QQQ. So if you look at the NVIDIA daily chart, you can see that this looks very, very similar to what we just saw on QQQ. In fact, I think it's an exact mirror image. You can see that we broke down that daily chart here, that daily key support area around this 407s. Why? We broke that down today. You can see that kind of held around here back in September, August, as well as June and May. So this is a very important rough area, this 407s, for the stock, and that's the key level for us to gauge whether the stock is going to reclaim or break down and continue selling off. And if you switch to the intraday chart over here, you can see I have the 5-minute chart, but for cleaner, let's use the 15-minute chart. You can see today we broke down that 407s area around 11 o'clock market time. We retested that during the 3 p.m. power hour, but we ultimately rejected. We ended up settling around 404s. If I was trading this the very next day, tomorrow, I'm going to be watching whether we hold that 407s or we continue breaking down. If we break down, you can see on the daily chart, once that 407s breaks down, we could probably have even more room down to potentially the 390s on the daily. Whether the stock eventually reclaims 407 or not, I think a lot of it really is dictated by the overall market condition, which is the market structure and the trends we just analyzed earlier. As you can see, I'm not in front of my usual trading setup at home today. I'm traveling currently in Los Angeles, and this is my essential travel trading setup. I know there are people out there who can trade with just one laptop on the go, but I personally cannot do that. As a price action trader, I need a minimum of 3 screens on the go with me. Over here, you can see my daily chart, my intraday chart. Over here, you have my gapper scanner, my broker platform down here, execution platform, level 2, time and sales, and then finally my watch list on the top over here. This 16-inch Asus Zen screen monitor is perfect for traders on the go, for traveling and hybrid work styles. It's really lightweight, has a really nice compact design, but most importantly, it takes care of my remote trading needs. So over here on the screen, I place my main watches, the stocks I'm watching for the day, on here. I have the daily chart on the left-hand side, very important, and intraday charts here, either on the 15-minute or the 5-minute chart on the right-hand side. I can simply attach the monitor to this ergonomic Zen screen stand and adjust the height, angle, and even rotate it to switch to a vertical monitor setup. So far, this Asus Zen screen has been my favorite travel monitor because I can connect it to my laptop easily with this high-speed USB-C cable. And it really gives me the flexibility to adjust my setup for a comfortable viewing position, whether standing or sitting. The second monitor of my travel trading setup is for my side watches, basically the other stocks I'm watching besides the main watch on the top. I like to have SPY and QQQ charts on the second screen, as well as some potential stocks to trade on the side. And finally, on my gaming laptop over here, I have my broker execution platform. This is where I execute my orders on the montage over here, also known as level 2. And on the side here, I have time and sales data. Special shout out to Asus for sponsoring this travel trading setup. Check out the link to Asus Marketplace down below if you're interested in checking out the same Zen screen monitors I have over here. Also, they're doing an exciting giveaway for some free Asus products from November to December. Make sure to join the end of the year giveaway with a link down below. Okay, now that you understand how to find key levels on the individual stocks that you're trading, especially those following the overall market, next I'm going to dive into a live trading demo, which will show you how I trade and execute around the key levels and using intraday price action. Okay, now that you've learned how to read market trends and plan out the key levels, the third step of price action trading is to understand the importance of this golden combination, using both volume and VWAP indicators in your trading. As you can see, I'm back in Vancouver now, in front of my regular trading desk. I'm gonna explain the importance of key levels, volume, and VWAP using a couple of different strategies and live trading examples from this week. I took about a week off from trading while I was traveling. In the live trading recordings I'm gonna show you, I was mostly trading smaller size and taking on some overnight swing trades, as I didn't want to be overly aggressive on my first couple of days back. So the first trade I want to talk about is on the stock Meta. I took this one on the short side, profiting a little bit over $900. So looking at the daily charts here, you can see from our previous step, the important thing is to find the daily key level. So you can see the day I'm trading it, which is the current day today from this morning, you can see we are currently retesting that daily resistance zone at around 314. So whether we break above the 314 or break down, that's gonna allow me to form a thesis on how to trade the stock using momentum as well as VWAP. Alright, so this is a recording from just this morning, a couple of hours ago. So you can see we are failing 314 on Meta, as well as failing that VWAP area, right? So a lot of times I use key level and VWAP as well as volume, which we'll see in a little bit, to help me find the right entry point. You can see I went short around this VWAP breakdown with 1,000 shares of Meta, with an average of 313.30s. So since Meta is a more volatile tech stock, you kind of have to use a risk of at least $1 to $1.50. But on this, I was looking for a lot more than that. I want a downside all the way to prior day's close. Right after I enter, we're immediately polling as well. You can see that's on Meta. We're immediately polling to around 312s. On NVIDIA as well, you can see on the bottom chart here that we haven't talked about it, but it's the exact same strategy. Failing VWAP, failing daily key level, and I went short. I like to look at both 5-minute and 2-minute to gauge whether I'm correct on my thesis. You can see right now it's working nicely already on Meta. Now you can see NVIDIA on the bottom chart here, that stock was definitely a little bit trickier than Meta to trade. That key level I'm looking at, 441's pre-market highs level, also the daily key level, that area kept on reclaiming. So you can see that's why I'm negative on NVIDIA short, which is why I only have a starter of 500 shares. That one's in the red. Versus Meta, I'm in the green. Currently up only about 20 cents, but I'm looking for a little bit more if possible. Fast forwarding a little bit, a couple minutes later, you can see Meta, we are now testing the low of the day, breaking below VWAP. NVIDIA, we are just once again touching below that VWAP, but this stock at the bottom is a lot more resilient, as you can see. So Meta looking good, testing the low of the day. On the 5-minute chart now, I'm looking at potentially covering a small portion. So fast forward a little bit, you can see I didn't cover anything, which in hindsight I kind of regret. You can see Meta is now bouncing off from that 312s. I went from being up $1 per share to now only being up 18 cents. NVIDIA though on the bottom is slowly breaking down. On this particular day, the market was definitely consolidating a lot. I wouldn't call it choppy because there was still money to be made, but you cannot see, but on the right hand side, I have the SPY chart as well as the QQQ chart. I often use that as a gauge in direction and the overall market trend, like we talked about in the previous steps. However, on this particular day, it wasn't that clear. So that's the reason I think I should have, instead of holding on for the big move, I probably should have covered a little bit more earlier with a breakdown on Meta down to 312. And NVIDIA, you can see it's breaking down to like 440 now. I didn't add to NVIDIA stock, not yet. But that's the reason I was hesitating on adding to bigger size. Okay, fast forward a little bit. You can see 2-minute chart on Meta on the top. After that bounce we talked about, now we are on the 2-minute selling off back to 312s. You're gonna see me trying to cover partial position. Okay, I cover 300 shares, locking in about $170, and holding on to the remainder of 700 shares short. NVIDIA, I still have just a remainder like starter long position, 500 shares. I'm up about $1 per share on NVIDIA. You can see I'm trying to add to 1,000 shares, but I think I really quickly realized, okay, I added at the bottom here. So you can see I pretty much cover that add right away on NVIDIA. So you can see I took like very small profit, but I was just trying to get out of that 500 shares I just added. Fast forward a little bit, I'm glad I did that. As you can see, NVIDIA, this stock is truly resilient. Broke down that VWAP, but you can see on 2 minutes, it really quickly reclaimed. Fast forward a little bit. You can see NVIDIA is now reclaiming over VWAP and reclaiming over that daily key level, 441s. So if you recall from earlier, I did say like, okay, if that key level reclaims, I'm gonna have to stop out of my current bias and potentially flip the other side, which would be the long side. Spoilers, I didn't go long, but I did stop out of my short. So that's why NVIDIA, you can see, I'm out 0 positions. On Meta, I still have the same 700 shares short. The reason I stayed with it is because, first of all, it's below VWAP, and it's still below that 314's daily key level. That's why I held on to my short. Fast forward a little bit. Now, about 20 minutes after I entered the stock, you can see Meta testing the low of the day now, breaking down to 312s, looking good. NVIDIA, I'm glad I got out. You can see it's also pulling below VWAP. Definitely not liking this reclaim on Meta at the low of the day here. This is where volume really comes in. You can see on both NVIDIA and Meta, even though Meta was a little bit weaker than NVIDIA, the volume on each of these breakdown is not that significant, whether you're looking at 2-minute chart or the 5-minute chart. So I think that's one of the reasons I never added. I just didn't have a lot of confirmation from the market. Even though Meta is below VWAP, but the breakdown, because remember I'm short, right? I want to see the volume breakdown increase. But the volume, you can see the red volume below, it's actually not that big. So that's the reason I wasn't as aggressive with adding to my short. If you're enjoying this price action strategy so far, make sure to drop a like down below. I really appreciate it. Also, you can now sign up for my free weekly watch list that I send out every single Sunday. So every Sunday, I send out 3 to 4 stocks I'm watching and looking to potentially trade for the week. I'll give you my analysis, key levels, and other commentary on the market. So you can sign up for that down below. Fast forward now, yes, you can see Meta were pulling down to 311. But once again, look at the volume at the bottom. It's still, you're breaking down with thin volume. You can see I'm up about $1,100 on the remainder of the 700 shares. I thought about covering it, but I really want to see if we get that prior day's close area, which will be 310.8. That would have been great risk reward. You can see I'm unrealized almost about like $1,200 on the remainder 700 shares. In hindsight, I wish I took it. You can see $1,200. This was a Friday, by the way. I normally don't trade a lot on Friday. So I was just coming in trying to see if we can get some small profit to pad my wallet. Fast forward a little bit, I'm trying to add to my Meta short. You can see trying to add a little bit around 312.30s. I added 300 shares, so I'm back with 1,000 shares short on Meta stock with an average of 313. Looking for the same thing, looking for the low of the day breakdown. You can see we are testing the low of the day. Fast forward, 311.40s. I'm up a little bit over $1,500. Okay, so we're back to my trading platform now. At the end of the day, again, those trades were taken this morning. So Meta, you can see after I exited here, the stock eventually consolidated a lot more and then later on reclaimed back over that daily key level area I was talking about over here and went to higher. So that ended up being, obviously not the low of the day cover, but it was a good cover as later on the stock reclaimed and went back to highs. NVIDIA, as you recall from the recording, I did revisit back to trade it one more time and I lost money on that. So overall, net negative $540 loss on NVIDIA. You can see I was still trading around the key level thinking that we're going to break down VWAP down here. Didn't work, covered it right away. This later on reclaimed VWAP, reclaimed key level with a high volume breakout and went back to highs to 450. In hindsight, I wish I went long, but guys, everything's perfect in hindsight. So not bad, ended the day today with $1,500 in total. Next, I want to talk about my Tesla swing trade overnight. This one was a big winner for me this week, totaling over $11,000. So the swing trade entry took place on Wednesday. Over here, Wednesday, if you guys recall, was also FOMC, right? So they talked about they're gonna keep interest rate unchanged, and the entire market was rallying into the close. So that's why I took Tesla. Once it crosses over that 204 daily level, why that 204? So you can look on the daily chart over here on Tesla stock. That 204, you can just call it the 203, 204 daily support area here and here from October. That level once reclaimed, I think this thing has a lot of upside, potentially to 210s first of all, and then 215 daily level. That would be my price target. And next, if it goes over that, I think it could go to the 200 SMA, which in this case, you can see, would be around 219. So a lot of upside for Tesla stock, as long as we close above the 204's daily key level. So now that you understand why that 204's area is my daily key level, we can now look at the intraday chart for Tesla. You can see, this near close was holding well above the 204's area. And that's why I took my entry here near the end of the day with the intention of swinging this overnight for a potential gap up or a morning spike into that area of 215s or potentially even higher to 219s if I get it, to sell it. Now, I think a lot of new traders will be asking, oh my God, but that's like a 10-point gap up. That's a little bit too aggressive. But no, Tesla is one of those stocks that can do that, especially when the market sentiment is very, very bullish. That's why earlier step number 1, finding out market trends and sentiment is so important. And number 2, the stock needs to be above the daily key level. Number 3, the stock was well above VWAP by the time it closes and the volume into close was very strong. So that's why all of these criteria have to add up to this price action strategy, whether you are day trading or overnight swing trading it. So the next day on Tesla, I did hold it all the way till about 215 and then I sold it all here. You can see the stock later on did go to 219s, but I sold a little bit too soon, but that's okay. That resulted in my overnight profit of $11,000 on Tesla. Also, I want to remind you that there's a giveaway campaign happening right now with prizes worth up to $4,200. You can use my link down below to enter the lucky draw before December 13th with a chance to win your very own Asus Zen Screen monitor to travel and trade or work. Don't miss out on the Black Friday sales right now. You can find other Asus portable monitors down below. Special thanks to Asus for sponsoring this video. There are many more concepts and pro tips I can share with you to help you read price action and improve your entries and exits. If you want to learn more about advanced price action trading concepts such as identifying the front side and the back side, which time frames and charts are best for long bias and short bias trading, and how to identify sentiment shifts when you are momentum trading. If you want to learn all of those tips I just mentioned, then you can check out this free crash course on price action trading over here. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.